7 ways Japanese minimalism can help you love your life again. Ever feel like you're drowning in your own stuff? Like your home has become a prison instead of a peaceful place? What if we told you that the secret to loving your life again might come from having less, not more? Hey everyone! Today we're diving into something that could completely change how you feel about your daily life. We're talking about Japanese minimalism. And trust us, this isn't just another decluttering trend. This is about rediscovering joy in the simple things and creating space for what truly matters. You know, there's something magical about Japanese culture when it comes to finding peace in simplicity. While we're busy collecting more and more things, thinking they'll make us happy, the Japanese have mastered the art of living beautifully with less. And the best part? You don't need to throw away everything you own or live like a monk to benefit from these principles. 1. The power of less is more, creating space for joy. Let's start with the foundation of Japanese minimalism. Picture this. You walk into a traditional Japanese home, and instead of feeling overwhelmed, you feel this immediate sense of calm wash over you. That's not an accident. Japanese minimalism teaches us that when we remove the excess, we create space for our minds to breathe. Think about your own home right now. How does it make you feel when you walk through the door after a long day? If you're like most people, you probably feel a little stressed just looking at all the stuff everywhere. Research from UCLA actually found that people living in cluttered homes have higher levels of cortisol, the stress hormone. That's your body literally getting stressed out by your environment. But here's where Japanese minimalism comes in like a breath of fresh air. Instead of seeing empty space as something that needs to be filled, Japanese culture celebrates it. They call it ma, the purposeful use of emptiness. When we start embracing this idea, something beautiful happens. We begin to appreciate the few things we do have so much more. That favorite coffee mug becomes a source of daily joy instead of just another item lost in the chaos. The transformation doesn't happen overnight, but when we start removing the things that don't serve us, we make room for the things that do. And suddenly, that overwhelming feeling starts to lift, replaced by something much more precious, genuine contentment with what we have. 2. The art of mindful living, being present in every moment. Now let's talk about something that goes hand in hand with having less stuff, being more present. Japanese minimalism isn't just about your physical space, it's about your mental space too. When we're constantly surrounded by distractions and excess, our minds become scattered. We're thinking about 10 different things at once, and none of them are the moment we're actually living in. Japanese culture has this beautiful concept called ichigo ichi-e, which means one time, one meeting. It's the idea that every moment is unique and will never happen exactly the same way again. When we embrace this mindset, everything changes. That morning coffee isn't just fuel for the day, it's a moment of quiet joy. That conversation with a friend isn't just passing time, it's a precious connection. Here's something interesting. Studies show that people who practice mindfulness, which is essentially what we're talking about here, report being 23% happier than those who don't. But mindfulness becomes so much easier when we're not constantly distracted by clutter, notifications, and the endless need to do more, buy more, be more. When we simplify our surroundings using Japanese minimalism principles, we naturally become more mindful. We start noticing the texture of our favorite blanket, the way sunlight hits our clean kitchen counter, or how peaceful it feels to have just a few meaningful books on our shelf instead of an overwhelming collection we never touch. This isn't about deprivation, it's about richness. The richness of truly experiencing what we have instead of always looking for the next thing. 3. Quality over quantity, investing in what truly matters. This brings us to one of the most powerful aspects of Japanese minimalism, the focus on quality over quantity. In our culture, we're often taught that more equals better. More clothes, more gadgets, more options. But Japanese minimalism flips this idea completely upside down. Instead of having 20 cheap t-shirts that fall apart after a few washes, imagine having 5 beautiful, well-made shirts that you absolutely love wearing. Instead of a kitchen filled with gadgets you never use, Picture having just a few high-quality tools that make cooking an absolute pleasure. This shift in thinking doesn't just change your space, it changes your entire relationship with the things you own. When you choose quality over quantity, something magical happens with our finances too. Sure, that one beautiful, well-made item might cost more upfront than 3 cheap alternatives, but think about it. You're buying one thing instead of 3, and that one thing will last years longer. Research from the Environmental Protection Agency shows that the average American throws away about 4.5 pounds of stuff every single day. That's not just wasteful for the planet, it's expensive for our wallets. Japanese minimalism teaches us to see our purchases as investments in our daily happiness. When everything you own is something you genuinely love and use regularly, your relationship with your possessions becomes positive instead of overwhelming. You're not constantly feeling guilty about wasted money or things you don't use. Instead, you're surrounded by items that serve a purpose and bring you joy every single day. 4. Creating sacred spaces. Your home as a sanctuary. Let's talk about transforming your home into what it should be, your personal sanctuary. In Japanese culture, the home is seen as a sacred space, a place where you can truly be yourself and find peace. But how can your home feel sacred when it's cluttered with things that stress you out or remind you of all the things you need to do? Japanese minimalism helps us create what they call kanso, simplicity and elimination of clutter. But this isn't about living in an empty box. It's about being very intentional about what we allow into our most personal space. Every item in a Japanese minimalist home has earned its place there. Think about your bedroom for a moment. Is it a place that instantly relaxes you when you walk in? Or does it stress you out with clothes everywhere, cluttered surfaces, and reminders of all the things you need to do? When we apply Japanese minimalism principles to our most intimate spaces, we create environments that actually support our well-being instead of draining it. This transformation affects our sleep, our relationships, and our overall sense of peace. Studies from the National Sleep Foundation show that people who make their beds every morning and keep their bedrooms tidy sleep better at night. It makes sense. When our external environment is calm, our internal state follows suit. The beautiful thing about creating these sacred spaces is that they become a source of daily renewal. Instead of coming home to chaos, you come home to peace. Instead of spending your free time cleaning and organizing, you spend it actually living and enjoying your space.
5. The freedom of fewer decisions. Mental energy for what matters. Here's something we don't often think about: decision fatigue. Every single day, we make thousands of tiny decisions, and each one uses up a little bit of our mental energy. What to wear, what to eat, which of the 15 different shampoos to use, which show to watch from the endless options on our streaming services. By the end of the day, we're mentally exhausted, and we haven't even tackled the decisions that actually matter. Japanese minimalism offers us a beautiful solution to this modern problem. When we own fewer things, we make fewer decisions. When we have a simplified wardrobe of pieces we love, getting dressed becomes effortless instead of stressful. When we have a streamlined morning routine with just the essentials, we can focus our mental energy on starting the day with intention instead of overwhelm. Research from Cornell University found that the average person makes about 35,000 decisions per day. That's exhausting. But successful people throughout history have understood the power of reducing decision fatigue. Steve Jobs wore the same style of outfit every day. Barack Obama had his suits laid out for him so he wouldn't have to think about what to wear. You don't have to go that extreme, but the principle remains the same. When we eliminate the unnecessary decisions from our daily lives, we free up mental space for creativity, relationships, and the things that actually matter to us. Japanese minimalism gives us permission to say no to the endless options that don't serve us, so we can say yes to the few things that truly do. 6. Embracing imperfection, the beauty of wabi-sabi. Now let's explore one of the most beautiful concepts in Japanese philosophy, wabi-sabi. This is the idea that there's a beauty in imperfection, in things that are worn, aged, or slightly flawed. In our social media world where everything has to look perfect, This concept is incredibly freeing. Wabi-sabi teaches us to find beauty in the crack in our favorite coffee mug, the worn spot on our favorite chair, or the way our plants grow in their own unique, slightly imperfect ways. Instead of constantly striving for Instagram-worthy perfection, we learn to appreciate the real, authentic beauty of things that are lived in and loved. This mindset shift is incredibly powerful for our mental health. When we stop trying to make everything perfect, we stop feeling like failures when things aren't Pinterest perfect. That slightly messy bookshelf becomes charming instead of stressful. Those laugh lines around our eyes become marks of a life well lived instead of flaws to hide. Studies show that perfectionism is linked to higher rates of anxiety and depression, but when we embrace wabi-sabi, we give ourselves permission to be human. We start seeing our homes, our lives, and ourselves with more compassion and less criticism. This doesn't mean we stop caring about our spaces or ourselves. It means we start caring about them in a healthier, more sustainable way. 7. Living with intention. Every day becomes meaningful. Finally, let's talk about the ultimate gift that Japanese minimalism offers us, the ability to live with true intention. When we remove the excess from our lives, we create space to focus on what truly matters to us. Instead of being reactive to all the stuff around us, we'll become proactive about the life we want to create. Living with intention means making conscious choices about how we spend our time, energy, and resources. It means saying no to things that don't align with our values so we can say yes to the things that do. When our homes are simplified and our possessions are chosen with care, every day becomes an opportunity to live according to our deepest values. This might mean having fewer social commitments, but deeper friendships. It might mean owning fewer books, but actually reading and savoring the ones we have. It might mean having a smaller wardrobe, but feeling confident and comfortable in everything we own. Research from Harvard Business School shows that people who live with clear intentions and values report higher levels of life satisfaction and lower levels of stress. They feel more in control of their lives and more aligned with their true selves. Japanese minimalism isn't about living with less for the sake of having less. It's about creating space for more joy, more peace, more meaningful connections, and more authentic experiences. When we embrace these principles, we don't just change our homes, we change our lives. The beauty of this approach is that you can start small, pick one area of your home, and apply these principles and see how it feels. We're willing to bet that once you experience the peace and joy that comes from living with intention and simplicity, you'll never want to go back to the chaos of excess. Your life is waiting for you to fall in love with it again. And sometimes the path to that love is found not in adding more, but in discovering the beauty of what's already there.